things that I loved about my husband is that he lived a really rich, full life. He didn't just he was a film critic, but he didn't just sit in the dark watching movies. He loved theater. He was a photographer. He
Family man?
he was a family man, a great grandfather. We traveled all the time. He did so many things, and he really lived a full life, and I think you'll see that. And before me, he was a bachelor, so I think they talk a little bit about some of that too.
Did you come to Sundance with him every year?
Not every year, but I came a lot of years to Sundance with him.
Yeah.
Yes,
Is this the first one on your own?
yes, it is. It is because he was here with me a few years ago. His last Sundance was not that long ago.
Right.
And I was actually scheduled to come this time last year, but he was in the hospital, and I decided I didn't want to leave him. And he was doing fine at the time in the hospital this time last year. I just decided I wanted to stay there with him, and I'm so glad I did.
Yeah. A rather insensitive change of subject. How does when you've made documentaries on just about any subject, sports is what I know you for. You brought up Hoop Dreams. What particular challenges did telling this story present?
Well, I've done a lot of different kinds of films. This is, in a way, this is the most sort of biographical kind of film I've done, where I'm trying to sort of tell the story of someone's whole life. Usually I do films where I follow people around for a period of time and tell a part of their life story as it unfolds. And this was very different in that way and presented a lot of interesting challenges. But I think that the other part of it is that I went into this anticipating that in filming Chaz and Roger in the present, that it was going to be a story about how incredibly vibrant he was, going to screenings, throwing dinner parties, attending events, and that didn't happen. But I am so heartened that even though what we filmed of Roger was either in the hospital mostly or in rehab, at least to me, because I didn't, I'm not Chaz, but to me, I saw that spirit. I saw that Roger, that sense of humor, that will and determination. I felt like I got to see all that anyway.
Right.
And ironically, all of those things, still the dinner parties and everything we did just before he fractured his hip, just before you started in December. So I have to say that there must have been some sort of, I don't know, divine plan that it happened this way. I don't know why. It's just I still think about that.
Well, again, I had you, Chaz, not really, I mean, we wanted to get this film underway, and Chaz, you said to me at one point, we need to start now. You said that to me, and I'm so glad that we did.
In speaking with him, you talked about his passions outside of film. Was he mostly, did you find him wanting to talk about movies, or was he talking about anything else?
Well, there's a moment in the film where at Roger's suggestion, I start to email him questions in advance with the hope that when he would get out of rehab that we would sit down and do it. And
By rehab, he means Rehabilitation Institute of Chicago, where he was learning to walk again, not the regular Hollywood kind of rehab.
Yeah, no, not that kind
of. Although he was also a recovering alcoholic, but that's not why he was in that. It was physical rehabilitation.
Right. Yes, yeah, that's a good distinction to make. So I had so many questions. I had literally 9 pages of questions for him, and I sent him this email where I sent him the first third, like just 3 pages,
right.
And he sent back this. And what I came to understand was a typical Roger kind of email, very short, to the point. He said that the title of it was, "Tell you what, let's do one question at a time." And so I did that. And so when I would email him these questions and he would answer, it ranged. I mean, we talked about his childhood, we talked about his parents, we talked about films. I mean, it really ranged widely, because I don't think he just wanted to talk about movies. I know
Right.
he didn't want to just talk about movies.